God, this is so weird. Just talking to myself in this room. I wonder how loud I am. I guess it is what it is, and I should stop being so cognizant of other people or like my. I don't really have the words. Feeling like I need to control my behavior in order to acquiesce to other people. I often fall on acquiesce and concede. And I don't know if I do that. I don't know if I do anything. If I'm going to do this, I need to be real. I need to focus. And I need to not be so cognizant of what I'm doing, which is weird for me. This is quite an embarrassing thing that I'm doing, just sitting here talking to nobody, imagining some sort of audience. I'm quite embarrassed by it, to be honest. I guess I'm feeling overwhelmed, as usual. I think I've always felt overwhelmed, but I've had various ways to control it or things to focus on that allowed me to focus on just like one thing, I guess. I don't know, I just feel very much like I'm making too much noise in here, and I don't want people to hear me. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't want people to hear me. This is my space right now. This is my room. My name isn't on it. I didn't request it. There's no form saying that this is my room at this time, and I will have this room for a certain amount of time, at which time somebody else can claim the room. I'm here until I give it up, and yet I feel like I'm talking too loud or doing something in the space that, not that I shouldn't be doing, but I don't know. It's a feeling that I've had a lot that I'd like to get past one day. I think it has something to do with my dad. Well, I don't want to pin it all on him, but something about my childhood and how I didn't feel comfortable with doing things or making noise, making myself known, opening myself up to judgment, essentially. I think that's been something that I've struggled with for a long time. Even now, I'm talking in quite a quiet voice out of courtesy for the other people in the library, which I haven't even seen, but I still want to be respectful, and yet I think that respectful there is just a thin veil. I don't know how thin or thick it is, but it's a veil that covers up the real thing. I don't consume a lot of John and Hank Green, but I'm familiar with their work, and I really like what they do. I found John Green through Crash Course, and then from there I found that they were sending videos to each other during the nascent stages of YouTube. They seem to have a really good relationship, and I don't have anything like that with any family member or anybody, really. I used to when I was young, and I wonder how much better I would feel if I still had Chris around. So much changed when he died, and I want to feel seen. I want to feel heard. I want to feel that somebody feels similar to me. I don't want to feel alone. And I don't know that I've ever talked to my brother, Chris, but I thought about doing a video like the Vlog Brothers, where it's just one way. So I don't know, here it goes. Hey, Chris. I'm still being very quiet. Still feeling like a bit of a weirdo or something for doing this in the library, in this little quiet room. Feeling like somebody's on the other side of the door with their ear up to it, listening and laughing. Hey, Chris. You're dead. You've been dead for 23 years. Things have changed, but really a lot has stayed the same. I have had some struggles, and I think Dad as well has also had a lot of struggles. Dad and my mom have gotten a divorce relatively recently, within the last year. Everything has gone through. I think it took about a year for the complete process to play out, start to finish. My mom has said that she had wanted to divorce him for a while. Neither one of my parents behave very deeply. I don't want to say they're not deep, that they're shallow people, superficial people. I don't think that's the case, but I do think that they don't always share their depth. And that can be hard for me because I'm quite deep and I like to share those things. I think as I've gotten older and I've learned how to settle into who I am, I've kind of used that as a tool or a sort of barometer to like weed people out. And what's hard about using that as a sort of filter is that not a lot of people are very deep. And if they are, then it's not always something that they show very readily. I think that's always been something that I've yearned for, and yet I didn't really know it. I think I sort of behaved through that when I was young, and it came out as anger because I didn't know how to process what I was feeling. And nobody around me except you, Chris, really behaved, acted through his sort of principles. I didn't know you for very long, Chris, and I was quite young. You died when I was 10. So it's hard to say who you really are from my perspective. I wish I could have known you when we were both adults. You are more like me than any other person. You're more like me than any other person. And not having you around has been hard. Our family has basically dealt with your loss for the last 23 years, and we've all done it in different ways. And for the most part, I don't think much of it was very healthy. It's hard for me as well, because I was a child, and I was still a child through the grieving process. And so, in a way, I needed to be taken care of by the adults, and yet the adults could not really take care of themselves. And for a few years, Dad and I got into a few tiffs that stem from how he treated you and his general behavior and attitude towards his children. And nearly 2 years ago now, it all kind of erupted and our family finally changed. That was a long time coming, and it needed to be done, in my opinion, a long time ago, at least 10 years. Such is life. We don't always have the best role models to implicitly guide us. Sometimes we have some not so great role models that are trying to explicitly guide us. And that can be very complicated and confusing. There's a lot going on nowadays. I suppose there's always been. But I also suppose there's more going on now than there was yesterday, literally and metaphorically. Though perhaps I'm only aware of that because I'm an adult. The people that I've looked to for advice, as qualified or unqualified, or for as many demerits as they may have, all I really have is my mom. And this is the first time I've seen her since I left my childhood home for what could be the last time. And she has declined. It's very sad to see. And I really wonder how I'm going to deal with my mom aging. She's currently taking care of her mom. Her mom is 97 and is essentially bedridden. I don't know how my mom does it. So often, we just have to get up and do something, even if we don't know what we're doing, how to do it, even if we don't have any help or support, or if the support is lacking, doesn't matter. We still have to get up and do it. That really hurts me, really makes my soul sad. I was raised to think that everything sort of turns out good in the end, that no matter what I did, I would always be able to come home to love and support. And I believed that, even though I don't know that it was ever really true. When I stopped talking to my dad last year, our dad, Chris, I did that because I needed to figure out who I was and what I'm doing with my life as a 30-year-old who has basically thought that I've been independent, but in reality, I'm not so sure. And I decided that I needed to stop making him a priority because him and his feelings were higher up on the priority list than me and my feelings. And the only way I knew how to do that, and I don't really know, but the best that I can do, because I have to do something, is to stop talking to him. And I have not talked to him for nearly 2 years. And when I began that, he stopped putting money in a stock trading account that he was maintaining for me. I needed to figure out what to do for me in order to improve our relationship, at least my perspective of it. And his response was to stop financially supporting me, and that's how it's been. The support, at least from him, I think, was always hollow, and even still, I have a hard time dealing with that. Part of me still thinks that I can rest on my laurels and that there will be a safety net, just like there always was. But I think I was misled, and I worry now that I just simply won't be able to care for my parents the way that my mom is currently caring for her mom. That's just one of my worries. I have a lot. Of worries. Dad's birthday was just the other day, and I do miss him. Or really, I think it's more so that I miss the idea of him. I don't think I miss him as he is, but I always had hope that he could be what I needed him to be, and I think I'm still in the process of understanding how to let go of that hope. Hope is a very complicated thing. It's something that I certainly have not always had, but a lot of people nowadays say that it is absolutely necessary. I'm sad a lot, Chris. I'm sad a lot. I think I always have been. But this week has been a bit sad, and I think I'll be sad for most of the next little while. I wish I could enjoy life. Enjoying life to me would be not feeling responsible for too many other people. I feel very responsible for the world and the way people behave. I don't know. I used to work in sports because sports were a reprieve from the doldrums of reality. What does doldrums mean? You know what this word is? Doldrum. A state of or period of inactivity, stagnation, or depression, gloominess, dispiritedness, despair, misery, apathy. But the reality is, the bad parts of life, don't ignore sports. Sports are part of life, and the depressions and hopeless parts, gloomy parts are unavoidable, even in sports. And I realize that I can't keep ignoring these feelings of wanting to contribute instead of wanting to sit on the sidelines. I wanted to get more involved. So I teach. I teach for money, and I try to think, and I would say I try to produce things. But do I really? I need to get better at that. So as much as I've changed, and as much as a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have also stayed the same. I wish you were here, man. I really miss you. It's been 23 years. You'd be 48. You'd be 48 years old. I guess I'll see you next time.